Happy New Year. Okay, I'm laughing. This is only too close. Okay, now we're good. What's up, guys? How you been? Happy New Year. So happy to see you again. Okay, I am here to talk about everything that 2024 taught me. Okay, what lessons from 2024 are we bringing in to 2025? Because 2024 for me was so humbling and so rewarding all at the same time. I believe there's a video where I'm literally on the verge of tears because I was reflecting, and in that moment I was like, dude, I was just so proud of myself, being able to like really bet on myself, pursue full-time entrepreneurship for a whole 365 days. Like, that's a big freaking deal. And not only did I do it, I survived. Honey, I survived. I did that. I was serving clients. I was like working in my purpose. I was healing. The amount of healing that I did in 2024. Like, thank you, Natasha, for all of your help, girl, because let me tell you something. I spent every Saturday dedicated to healing my inner child, like figuring out what wounds I had in my body that I had to process, because I was the queen of suppression. I am so good at suppressing my emotions. I am so good at ignoring them. I am so good at pretending that everything's okay. And I am so good at putting other people's feelings in front of mine. I am so good at those things, and it really does a number on your soul, on your mental well-being. Plus, when it comes to like the conditionings of society, the conditionings of a Jamaican household, the conditionings of like being a Christian and what that's supposed to look like, you know, whatever it was. My God, the amount of healing that happened in 2024, I am just so abundantly grateful. And I'm also hella aware that the journey of healing doesn't necessarily have an end line to it, you know? You just level up every time you do it. And for me, now I have the tools. Now I know what to do. Now I know how to bounce back. 'Cause, you know, and Sean, what's his name? Bruh. What's Sean? The Sean guy. I can't remember his name right now. The Sean guy. When he said bounce back, I really wasn't. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we stay good. We stay good, fam. We stay good. So I don't like bounce back. I didn't know what tools to really implement to bounce back. Big Sean.
Oh my God.
Big Sean. But yeah, I didn't have the tools prior to 2024, and now I have so many tools. Now I know exactly what to do. Now I'm like, I'm becoming a ninja at pattern interruption. Come on, because that's a freaking skill, okay? That's a freaking skill. And for somebody who like beats themselves up and constantly shaming themselves and constantly like throwing lines of negativity all up in here, listen, changing my thought patterns and interrupting my thought patterns has been a saving grace. It has been such a blessing, and it has really been the one that I had to work on most. Oh my God. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. 2024 was amazing. 2024 was amazing when it comes to personal growth. It was amazing for me to see like what I can do on my own. There were so many things, like now I'm like, there's so many aha moments. Like I had a one-on-one with an executive in the industry. I work in music media. And so I had a one-on-one with a music media exec in Canada. And she was saying, She said this line. She was like, careers are hard. That's why you don't really see that many people pursue a career, because they're hard. And I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. No one told me that. No one told me that. Nobody told me that. People like to pick up jobs because like they're easy. They're jobs. But a lot of people, or I don't know about a lot of people, but like the people I know, some people I know, they don't have career goals. They don't have career goals. They're just like, yo, I'm just gonna live my life and like be with family. Like I'm fulfilled with family and like extra activities, and like that's what like brings me joy. And I'm like, that's fucking fantastic for you. Okay. Not for me. I have a whole career. No, but seriously, she was like, yo, pursuing a career is hard. And when she said that, her executive derriere, I was like, all right, cool. So I'm not tripping. Because this whole time I was like, no, like, I need to do more. I deserve better. Like, all of these, like, pick me mentality. And it's just, like, not serving me. It was not serving me. But I also, when I was in that mentality, I didn't understand why it wasn't serving me and how it was putting me back, because I was limiting myself with that ideology. And so I'm just so grateful that I've outgrown that phase. I'm so grateful that I am in the space where I am now, like where I'm just so much more aware and so much more comfortable with where I'm at. Like before I used to be so uncomfortable, like I should be further along. Like it's just such a bad mentality to have. And now I'm just like, yeah, like I'm gonna get there for sure. Like without a doubt, I'm gonna get there. But whether it happens this year, 5 months, 2 months, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 4 years, I don't care anymore. Like I'm just gonna make sure that I take the steps and actually enjoy the process. Because before I was like trying so hard to just get to the next thing. I didn't even care about the process. And it made it so much harder to do the little things that you need to do to develop the skills that you need to have to be ready for the big opportunity. I'm just so happy that I am where I am now. And I'm so happy that I took the jump to pursue entrepreneurship full time. Like, it was just so eye-opening. And like for me, I realize now that I'm the type of person that I thrive better right now with the resources and things that I have access to right now, with how everything is set up, even with the little bit of remodeling that I did within my business. Right now, I thrive better when I have a job and my business, when I'm balancing both. I, as an individual, I thrive better when I have both. Because doing the one was amazing, but I learned a lot of things about myself during that time. Which brings me into my list, honey, of lessons that I learned that we are bringing in to 2024. Because what we're not gonna do is relearn these lessons. Okay, that's what we're not about to do. All right, so I made sure that I wrote them out, and I'm now making a video about it because I refuse to relearn these lessons. Okay. Lesson number 1. Your immediate surrounding, like your home or office, matters more than your geographic location. Listen. Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm an Alberta girl. I'm an Alberta girly. Okay, and I rock that shit loud and proud. Okay, I'm from Alberta and I moved to Toronto. The first time I moved to Toronto was because I got accepted to TMU. I was like a new student. I was so excited. Toronto has always been that like dream city that I wanted to live in. And like, I was there. I was in the heart of the city, the heart of like where everything happens, like literally a block or 2 blocks away from Yonge and Dundas. Like, it was amazing. It was so cool. And so that was my first time there. 2017, graduated 2020, pandemic. I was like, peace out, because those policies in Ontario were ruthless, fam. Everyone had to be in their house. It was horrible. So I was like, let me go over this with the conservatives who have everybody outside with no mask. So I moved back to Alberta for a few years, and then I moved back to Toronto because I was like, no, like Toronto's Canada's LA. Like this is the place of opportunity. This is the pulse of the music industry. This is the pulse of culture in Canada. And like this is where it's gonna happen for me. Yeah, I was so energized. And I, within the first 3 years that I was there, for school, I networked enough where I was like, okay, like I have enough connections in the music industry where I'm sure I can like get something going. So I'm gonna just move back and see what happens. Now, 2024, this all ties into this one quote because what I learned was that because of that, I didn't really have a home. I didn't have a home for the whole like year and a half that I was there. I was staying at family's house. I was staying at my friend's house. Basically couch surfing. And I was couch surfing for so long because I was like waiting for that, not really waiting, but like preparing and planting seeds for that moment where that thing was gonna happen. And then I was like, okay, once I know for sure that thing has happened, then I'll like invest $2,300 into rent, And at that time too, and still right now, I'm very certain I do not want to live with a roommate. And couch surfing was that sacrifice. I was like, okay, like if I live in it with a roommate, like I'm gonna be like chilling with my grandma, or I'm gonna be like chilling with my pops, or like I'm gonna be like chilling with family, and like not like play little to no rent instead of living with like a stranger and like paying rent. And then like no, because then your money just goes to this person that you like don't even know, and like why? No, for me it didn't make sense. It didn't add up, and like also it didn't make sense for me where I was at. So because I put myself in this couch surfing situation, I didn't have a home and I didn't have an office. I would frequently go to the library, get my shit done. I would go to cafe shops, get my shit done. I would go everywhere else, get my shit done. But then once I returned to the house that I was staying at, it wasn't a productive space because it wasn't designed for me, right? And then it was just like tough to get shit done. Like it was really challenging to get stuff done in some of those spaces. Eventually, like 8 months down the road, I figured it out. But it took a lot of discipline and it took a lot of mind shifts. Because there was nothing I could do about the environment. Like I couldn't set the environment in a way to help me win because it wasn't my environment to change. So instead of doing that, I had to work on my mind. And it took a really long time. So yeah, that all being said, looking back at everything that I accomplished, a lot of everything that I accomplished was remote. And so I say this quote to say that your home and your immediate office is way more important than where you're based. It doesn't matter if you're in Toronto, the heartbeats of the music industry, or if you're in Saskatchewan. As long as you have a good workspace, you're going to thrive, especially in the digital age. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I was in Toronto to attend all these events, but at the end of the day, like, nothing really came out of them immediately. Nothing immediately came out of them. I'm sure the seeds that I planted at those events will eventually foster, but nothing immediately came out of them. So, like, for me, it was worth it because I needed that experience. I would, until this day, if I didn't make that move back, until this day, I would be like itching to go back to Toronto just to see what could happen. You know what I mean? So I needed that experience to have this realization. And I didn't know this until I experienced it. So I'm sharing all of this for anyone that's out there that lives outside of Toronto and who's debating like, oh, should I move? Should I not move? Just know, like, if you're there in June when Canadian Music Week is happening, in August when there's a bunch of music events happening, in August and September, there's a bunch of music events happening within those 3 months, you'll be good, fam. You'll be good. You don't gotta move. You just need to meet the people, plant the seeds, exchange the emails, and stay in contact with them. And you don't need to be there in person to do all of that. You don't need to move there to do all of that. So unless there is like a commitment that requires you to be there in person, really, really deeply consider the move, because the province itself is really expensive. It is. It's really expensive. Moving on to lesson number dos. Okay. Okay, taking risks is essential because whether they lead to success or lessons, they contribute to your personal growth. Everything that I just said on repeat, okay? Everything that I just said, it contributed to my personal growth. Making that jump to be like, I need to move back to Toronto because this is the pulse of the music industry and everything that I want to pursue. And this is where everybody that I want to meet and all my potential mentors are based. Yeah, let's do it. And like, yeah, I needed to make that risk and make that jump so that I could come to this realization that maybe that's not what's for me and my calling and what God has in store for me. You know? Yeah. But it was essential to take that risk. It was essential. It's essential. Because you do not know what's on the other side until you make the jump. Until you jump. And you need to know what's on the other side, especially if there is this gut fire blazing inside of your stomach telling you to jump. You have to. Okay, number 3, sacrifices don't always have to be made to achieve success. Habit-changing decisions are more powerful than sacrifices. Yeah, and so this goes back to what I was saying about my home situation, or my friend likes to say, like, you had multiple homes. I was like, that's very true. I did. I had multiple homes, but now it's time to have a home for myself. Period. But yeah, I had multiple homes for sure, and that sacrifice was not worth it. Okay. If I just changed some of my habits instead, would have been probably the exact same place. No, maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. You only know what you experience, right? So, yeah, I think the quote kind of says it all. Before you make a sacrifice, just assess what are some of your habits and what are some of the habits that you need to change. And if you change those habits, will it give you the success that you're looking for instead of the sacrifice? And also, I understand this one's a little bit controversial too, because like in biblical terms, like there's always has to be a sacrifice. So I understand like how that can be a little trivial, but it's kind of just like up to the individual, you know? That's the thing about like all of these advice videos and stuff that's happening on social media, and like you scroll every 3 seconds and like someone's like giving you advice, like do this, do that, do this. It's like whatever is applicable to you is for you, you know? Like not everything's for you. And that's okay. Okay, next one. Faith is having confidence in the unknown. This one I was actually thinking to reword, but I just kept it to unknown because although you have a vision for your life, it's not physically in front of you. So therefore, it's kind of unknown. Even though you and God know, it's unknown, you know? So yeah, what I was basically implying by this quote is that I just need to have a lot more confidence in where God is guiding me instead of trying to like strategize and be like, oh, what is next? What is this? What is that? This year, especially like when you're pursuing full-time entrepreneurship, like I feel like there's a lot of things that you do that's just like in faith. Like you're just like, you know what? Like this feels right. So I'm going to make this decision and like, God, you can do the rest, you know? And that was a lot of my year. That's probably like 6 months of 2024. It was just like, okay, I'm making this step. God do the rest, okay? I'm making this step, God do the rest, you know? Like, I didn't have a mentor. I was just like, I was really just gutting for it. And I was just like, you know what? This is what's on my heart. This is what I want to do. I made this decision. I'm completely out here, completely independent. Like, it's all me. So it's me and God. It's me and God. It's me and God. And so I really like developed what that looked like for me, you know, moving with faith, walking with faith. What does that look like for me? And like, how does just like releasing and letting God flow look like for me, and like taking that step? Because I'm one of those individuals, I didn't really grow up with people who exemplified some of that stuff. So I had to like figure it out for myself. But luckily, God put in some people in my life who do exercise this. So it was cool just to have them a phone call away whenever I was in doubt, you know? Yeah, man. That's blessed. That's blessed. Okay. Number 5. Thoughts are transferable, making them a powerful tool that enables me to remain grounded and confident in any. So, yeah. Oh God, Jesus. So at the beginning of the year, I was on the radio station, Flow 98.7 FM. That's not their theme. That's not how they say it. Anyways, I actually lost that job. It was my first time losing a position. It was my first time someone like fired me. It was my first L since like grade 7. It was crazy. I was like, what is going on? But it was cool because like I learned like really good lessons, but also I know like it was environment, like my personal environment played a role in that, and like there was so many other factors that ultimately I have to take responsibility for, right? But it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Yes, you're going to validate that feeling. It was very unfortunate, but I learned through that experience, and at least I got to be on the radio, you feel me, in like a very competitive market that just keeps trickling and belittling, like going down. So yeah, it's cool that I even got a position in that hyper competitive market in a hyper competitive province. So, you know, I really gotta like give myself props for that, seriously. But that brings me back to this quote about thoughts are transferable. It is scientifically, it has been proven, it is true. And so it's just like understanding that your thoughts are transferable. So like always, especially in social settings, making sure that you're thinking the right things, thinking like, oh, I am confident, oh my God, I'm such a great conversationalist, OMG, I am that girl. Like you want those thoughts going in your mind. Especially when you're in social settings, because your thoughts are transferable, and you don't want people to pick up on any stank energy. No stank energy. No, that's something I learned. That's something I learned in 2024, and it was a beautiful lesson. That was something I learned through my mentor, Natasha. Yeah, and then also, obviously I experienced it, you know, like I felt it in real life. So I was like, ah, shit, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So this quote I pulled from somebody else, I don't know, but I constantly have to remind myself this, especially as I was going through my healing process, healing my inner child, thinking about all the various conditions that my parents, you know, conditioned me as, you know. So it was this right here. You are not responsible for how you come into the world, but you are responsible for how you leave. And so as I was like journaling and releasing and processing so much stuff that happened to me when I was younger, or like certain conditionings and ideologies that they had that were planted from my parents, it's like, okay, like cool, I'm not responsible for that. However, I'm making this decision that I'm releasing this, and like we're moving forward. We are only bringing along what is serving me. We are no longer lugging around the baggage of the past or the ideologies that are bringing me down. Like, no, that all ends now. That all ends today, you know? I literally dedicated Saturdays to my mental health every single morning, Saturdays, I would go for a walk, bring my journal, hang out in the park, and just cry. Journal and cry, journal and cry, journal and cry. It sounds awful, but what I was doing was processing so many traumatic experiences that I didn't allow myself to process when they happened, which was, I felt like, majority of my life, okay, to be very real with you. Because I've been suppressing my emotions, like, since I was, like, grade 1 or maybe a little bit younger. So it's just like there was a lot to deal with, and as I was going through this healing process, I always had to remind myself, like, I am not responsible for how I came into the world, but I am responsible for how I leave. And so we're making that switch today. We're making that switch today. Every day, every minute, every hour, every second, you have to make the decision that, like, you are going to be your better self. You're going to present your higher self every day, every hour, every minute, every second. Number 8, my calling in this world is not to be busy. Ask for help. Ask for help. So this one is definitely influenced by my man, for sure, because he has such a good work-life balance. And I don't. I just don't. I just work all the time. He, like, called me up the other day. He was like, yeah, you, like, work, like, 16 hours a day. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. It was so funny because, like, one of my friends, she's like, yeah, can we, like, just, like, not talk about work for, like, the last hour of this phone call or whatever? And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. For me, that's hard to do because I literally, every single day, like, I work. That's all I do. Like, that's all I do. So it was just a little bit challenging to navigate that. But, like, also to see how my friends were so really, like, just strict with their time, you know? That one friend in particular who was like, hey, let's not talk about work, or, like, I don't want to go to these conferences that are so, like, work focused, like... I love her. She's so good at protecting her energy, and she's so good at, like, setting boundaries. Like, she teaches me so much. I love her so much. So yeah, between her and, like, my man, yeah, they both kind of, like, just influenced me. It's like, okay, we're not going to be busy this year. We are going to be productive, and we are going to have a team, okay? We're not doing everything ourselves. That's not necessary. That's so draining. Like, I like to be cute. I like to, like, twirl my hair and just, like, be cute. So and you can't do that when you're working 16 hours a day, you know? I'm just saying. So, yeah, Mom. The last lesson that 2024 taught me is the definition of success can evolve over time, and that's okay. And those two definitely correlate. I think now I'm in a phase of my life where I'm just, like, thinking about the quality of life. Like, what quality of life do I want, you know? I used to think of entrepreneurship as a sacrifice, as a hustle, as a grind, and as much as it's that those things can be true, entrepreneurship can also look like other things. Like, it can also be fun and easy. It can also be, like, just light. You know, it doesn't have to be, like, this grind and just, like, long hours. Like, no, you set your boundaries, you establish what you want to do, you know what you want to do, you put in your automation systems, and you can get it done. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be so rough. And so I'm definitely, like, moving out of that, or I have moved out of that, and just, like, really just implementing new things, new systems, new team members and stuff, so that my entrepreneurship experience can be a lot easier, to be quite frank, because it doesn't have to be hard. And yeah, I'm super excited to just see what 2025 has to bring. I'm super excited to just live life a lot more instead of just, like, working every single day. Yeah, like, mid-year, I told myself, it's like, okay, Sundays, like, we do not work on Sundays. And, like, this has been something I've been telling myself for the longest while, but I haven't been practicing it, whereas halfway through last year, I started to seriously implement it. I was like, no, I do not work on Sundays. And so, like, that was nice, where I actually honored my rest day. And so, yeah, it's been such a cool journey, just seeing how much impact your personal growth can have on your actual output, you know? So I'm just, yeah, I'm really excited about 2025 and all of the things, and I'm grateful for 2024, all of the lessons, all the decisions that I made, everything. It was a great year. It was a great year, super humbling, and so much growth, and I'm just so grateful for where I am today. So yeah, man, you don't know we're done. I don't know what else to say, but I hope you guys you have entered 2025 with a smile on your face, you know, regardless of what happened in 2024. I hope that you feel excited about the potential of this year. You feel excited about being able to press a restart button in any area or in all areas of your life. And just like, do whatever feels right, you know? Do whatever feels right. For me, being productive and not busy feels so right. So I'm just like, sign me up, baby, sign me up. I'm just like, sign me up for 2025. I'm here, I'm ready, let's do it. All right, if you have any amazing takeaways from 2024, drop them in the comments section. And also let me know, what is one thing you're super excited about when it comes to this? We'll chat.